What if the most dangerous monster in the Ramayana wasn't a villain at all, but a genius who was cursed to sleep through a war he knew his family would lose? Imagine waking up from a decade of silence only to find that your brother has set the world on fire. Samsara Sagas presents Kumbhakarna, the prisoner of sleep. The golden city of Lanka was screaming. The air, once sweet with celestial incense and the song of Gandharvas, was now thick with the coppery taste of blood and choking black smoke of 1,000 funeral pyres. For months, the greatest empire on earth, a city literally built of gold, had been crumbling under the weight of one man's ego. Ravana, the 10-headed king, had stolen a queen, and now the divine Lord Ram was at his gates, and the ocean itself had turned into a bridge of stone. But in the deepest, darkest vault of the palace, carved into the very roots of the island, there was only terrifying silence. There lay Kumbhakarna. He was a mountain of a man, a titan whose very breath moved like a monsoon wind through the corridors of the subterranean halls. But he wasn't sleeping by choice. He was a prisoner of a single cosmic mistake. Ages ago, after lifetimes of penance in the midst of 5 burning fires, he had forced the creator Brahma to appear. Kumbhakarna's mind was a sun, brilliant, calculated, and vast. He intended to ask for Indra Asana, the throne of the heavens, to bring order to the universe. But the gods, looking down from their clouds, trembled. They knew that if a giant with his discipline gained that power, the balance of reality would shatter. And so they conspired. They begged Saraswati, the goddess of speech, to intervene. As Kumbhakarna opened his mouth to claim the heavens, the goddess ruled over his words and voice, bringing them down like a weight of lead. His mind screamed Indra, but his lips betrayed him. He asked for Nidra Asana, the bed of sleep. In the time it takes for a heart to beat, his brilliant destiny was locked in a biological cage. He became a genius trapped in a coma, a god mind forced to dream while his family marched towards ruin. Now, desperate, bleeding, and watching his generals fall like autumn leaves, Ravana ordered the impossible. "Wake the giant!" The scene was a cacophony of madness. 1,000 elephants were driven into the vault, their heavy feet rhythmic and thunderous. Mountains of roasted meat and rivers of wine were piled high to tempt his dormant senses. Great celestial trumpets, the shankas of war, blasted until the stone walls began to weep dust. For hours, the giant Kumbhakarna remained a statue. When he finally opened his eyes, they were not red with rage. They were deep, ancient, and filled with a profound, groggy sadness. He did not reach for the meat. He did not roar. Instead, he looked at the frantic messengers and asked a question that chilled their souls. "Why have you disturbed my peace to show me a kingdom in ruins? I smell the scent of burning gold. I hear the weeping of our widows. Tell me, what has my brother done?" He was led to the royal court. The floor groaned under his weight. He stood before Ravana, the brother he once admired, the king he once served. He looked at the 10 heads of the king and saw only 10 masks of fear. Kumbhakarna's voice rumbled like a tectonic shift. "Brother, you did not kidnap a woman. You kidnapped your own death. You have invited the sun into our house and complained that the curtains are catching fire. Return the mother to the world. Bow to the Prince of Ayodhya. Do it now, and perhaps our children might live to see the dawn." The court went silent. The monster was the only one speaking with the clarity of a rishi. But Ravana, blinded by the reflection of his own crown, spoke from pure bitterness. He didn't argue logic. He targeted the heart. He looked at his giant brother and whispered, "I did not wake you for a sermon, Kumbhakarna. I woke you for a shield. Will you stand with your king, or will you crawl back into your bed while your blood is spilt on the sands of Lanka?" This was the true tragedy. Kumbhakarna looked around him. He saw the army of Rama, and in his spirit he saw the divine light emanating from the enemy. He knew his brother was wrong. He knew the cause was lost. He knew that by stepping out of those gates, he was walking into his own cremation. But he also knew the code of the Asuras. A brother does not leave a brother to die alone, even if that brother is a fool. He stood up, his massive frame blotting out the midday sun, casting a shadow that covered the entire city. He stepped onto the battlefield with the grace of a man who had already accepted his end. He fought with a terrifying, hollow strength, not to win, for he knew victory was impossible against the truth, but to pay a final, bloody debt of loyalty. When Rama's golden arrow finally found its mark, Kumbhakarna did not roar in agony. He let out a long, shuddering breath of relief. The heavy sleep of his curse was over. As his spirit left the mountain of his body, he wasn't looking at the gold of Lanka. He was looking at the feet of the divine. He was finally, truly awake. The giant has fallen, but his silence speaks louder than the roar of battle. For even today, the story of Kumbhakarna whispers a truth that our modern world often forgets. The curse of the misspoken word. This story teaches us that our intentions mean nothing if our words are not aligned. One moment of distraction, one slip of the tongue can alter the trajectory of a lifetime. Watch what you invite into your life. The trap of blind loyalty. Kumbhakarna died for a brother he disagreed with. It reminds us that loyalty is a noble trait, but when pledged to an ego-driven cause, it becomes a cage. True Dharma is choosing the truth over the tribe. The wisdom in the shadows. Often, the people the world labels as monsters or failures are the ones carrying the heaviest burden of clarity. Kumbhakarna slept so he wouldn't have to watch the world burn. Yet, he was the only one brave enough to tell the king he was naked. This was Kumbhakarna, the prisoner of sleep, a tale from Samsara Sagas, where ancient Indian stories whisper timeless truths to modern souls. While the story ends here, the journey continues within you.